Hi there, history buff. In this video, we will discuss the causes and consequences of the fall of the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire, one of the most formidable empires in history, spanned over a millennium and at its height controlled vast territories across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. However, despite its remarkable achievements, the empire began to crumble, ultimately falling in 476 AD with the deposition of the last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus. This essay will explore the complex web of factors that contributed to the fall of the Roman Empire, ranging from internal weaknesses, economic struggles, political instability, military failures, to the impact of external forces and invasions. 1. Political corruption and instability. The Roman Empire, particularly during its later years, was plagued by political corruption and inefficiency. The empire's bureaucratic and administrative system became unwieldy, especially as it expanded. Roman politics grew increasingly disconnected from the needs of its citizens, and corruption became rampant within the empire's governance. Power was concentrated among a select few who often engaged in factionalism and infighting, leading to political instability. The process of appointing emperors became chaotic and frequently involved military coups. Many Roman emperors, especially in the later years, were short-lived, often being assassinated or overthrown by rivals. For instance, during the 3rd century AD, a period known as the Crisis of the 3rd century, Rome saw nearly 50 different emperors take the throne in a span of 50 years, with most meeting untimely deaths. This political turmoil weakened the administrative efficiency of the empire, eroded public confidence, and contributed to the disintegration of law and order across the empire. Additionally, there was a growing division between the Western and Eastern Roman empires, which had different priorities, political structures, and economic strengths. The creation of separate courts and governance under Diocletian's division of the empire in 285 AD may have provided temporary stability, but it also led to the Western Empire being more isolated and vulnerable to collapse. 2. Economic decline and financial mismanagement. Economic issues played a significant role in the downfall of the Roman Empire. The Roman economy relied heavily on conquest and plunder, but as expansion slowed, the empire faced a shortage of new territories to conquer and, consequently, a reduction in resources. Rome also became heavily dependent on slave labor, which was tied to the success of military campaigns. When military victories diminished, so did the supply of slaves, which disrupted the economic system. High taxation, especially during the later years, strained the empire's finances and burdened the lower and middle classes, which led to widespread resentment. Wealthy landowners managed to avoid taxation by exploiting loopholes and moving their wealth to rural estates, which led to increased tax evasion and reduced state revenue. Rome also suffered from inflation and currency devaluation. In order to pay for the military and administrative expenses, emperors often debased the currency by reducing the silver content in coins, which led to rampant inflation. This financial mismanagement contributed to a stagnant economy, reduced trade, and ultimately a weakened state that was unable to support its vast territories. Moreover, the Roman agricultural system deteriorated, leading to food shortages and famines. As cities expanded, and soil became exhausted, agricultural output declined. This, combined with mismanagement of food distribution, contributed to hunger, malnutrition, and population decline. 3. Military weaknesses and barbarian invasions. The Roman military, once the cornerstone of its empire, became increasingly ineffective in defending its borders as internal weaknesses and external pressures grew. Several key factors contributed to the decline of Rome's military might. Overextension and frontier defense. The Roman Empire was vast, stretching from Britain to Mesopotamia. Defending such a large expanse became increasingly difficult. The frontiers of the empire, especially along the Rhine and Danube rivers, were constantly under threat from barbarian groups such as the Goths, Vandals, and Huns. As resources became scarce, the Roman legions found it harder to defend these borders, which allowed for increased incursions by external enemies. Reliance on mercenaries. As Roman citizens became less willing to serve in the military, the empire increasingly relied on mercenaries, many of whom were of Germanic origin. These mercenaries had little loyalty to the empire and were often less disciplined than traditional Roman legions. In some cases, they even turned against Rome, contributing to its downfall. Military defeats. Several catastrophic military defeats weakened the Roman Empire's ability to recover from external threats. The Battle of Adrianople in 378 AD, in which the Eastern Roman Emperor Valens was defeated and killed by the Goths, marked a significant turning point. The loss highlighted the empire's vulnerability and emboldened other barbarian groups. By the time of the sack of Rome by the Visigoths in 410 AD, the Western Roman Empire was already in terminal decline. Barbarian invasions. The final blows to the Western Roman Empire came from repeated invasions by various barbarian groups. The Huns, under Attila, threatened both the Western and Eastern empires, while the Vandals sacked Rome in 455 AD. The Ostrogoths and Visigoths settled within the empire's borders, establishing their own kingdoms in former Roman territories. Finally, in 476 AD, the last Roman emperor of the West, Romulus Augustulus, was overthrown by the Germanic chieftain Odoacer, marking the official end of the Western Roman Empire. 4. Social and cultural decay. The social structure of Rome had also begun to decay long before the empire's collapse. The Roman elite, who once prided themselves on civic duty and military service, became increasingly detached from the needs of the empire. As wealth and power became concentrated in fewer hands, the aristocracy withdrew to their rural estates, abandoning the cities and neglecting public service. This led to a breakdown in the communal responsibilities that had once held the empire together. Additionally, there was a growing disconnect between the rich and the poor, leading to social unrest. The gap between the elite and the common people widened significantly, and many citizens became disillusioned with the government. The middle class, which was vital to the economic and social fabric of Rome, eroded over time, as heavy taxation and economic instability pushed many into poverty. Furthermore, Roman society became increasingly decadent, and some historians have argued that this moral and cultural decline contributed to the fall of the empire. Excessive luxury, corruption, and a focus on personal indulgence over public good undermined the values that had once made Rome strong. 5. Religious transformation and the rise of Christianity. The rise of Christianity and its eventual adoption as the state religion by Emperor Constantine in the early 4th century is often cited as a contributing factor to the fall of the Roman Empire. Before Constantine's conversion, the Roman state religion was deeply intertwined with the empire's political and social institutions. The emperors were often deified, and religious rituals played an important role in unifying the population. With the rise of Christianity, however, the traditional religious structure of Rome was fundamentally altered. Christian values often conflicted with traditional Roman virtues, such as militarism and civic duty. Some scholars argue that the Christian doctrine of pacifism and otherworldliness weakened Rome's martial spirit. Others suggest that the growing power of the Christian Church created a competing authority to the imperial government, further weakening the central authority of the empire. While the spread of Christianity may not have directly caused the fall of the Roman Empire, it certainly contributed to the cultural and ideological shift that accompanied Rome's decline. The empire's transformation from a polytheistic society into a Christian one created divisions and a sense of instability, as new religious conflicts emerged within the population. 6. Environmental and health issues. Environmental factors and public health crises also played a role in the decline of the Roman Empire. The empire faced numerous natural disasters, including droughts, floods, and plagues, which further weakened its infrastructure and economy. For instance, the Antonine Plague, which struck in the late 2nd century AD, is estimated to have killed millions of people, significantly reducing the empire's population and labor force. Additionally, poor urban sanitation and overpopulation in major cities such as Rome led to frequent outbreaks of disease. Public health issues, combined with food shortages and famines, contributed to a general decline in the population, which in turn weakened the empire's ability to sustain its military and economy. 7. The role of external forces. The final stages of the Roman Empire were marked by a series of invasions by various groups. The rise of the Sassanid Persian Empire in the east created a powerful rival to Roman dominance, particularly in the eastern provinces. Meanwhile, the nomadic Huns pushed westward, displacing many Germanic tribes, which in turn began to encroach on Roman territory. The Goths, Visigoths, Vandals, and other Germanic tribes were increasingly able to penetrate Roman defenses, eventually leading to the sacking of Rome itself. These external threats were exacerbated by Rome's internal weaknesses. While the Roman Empire had once been able to absorb and assimilate conquered peoples, by the 4th and 5th centuries, it lacked the resources and administrative capacity to do so effectively. As a result, many of these barbarian groups established independent kingdoms within former Roman territories, further undermining the authority of the central government. Conclusion. The fall of the Roman Empire was not the result of a single event or factor, but rather the culmination of a variety of internal and external pressures that had been building for centuries. Political corruption, economic decline, military weakness, and social instability all played significant roles in undermining the empire from within. Meanwhile, external pressures from barbarian invasions, environmental challenges, and the rise of rival powers further hastened. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.